Ernest Thayer wrote Casey at the Bat way back in 1888. Ernest was a Harvard attendee and he was good friends with William Randolph Hearst, that California bazillionaire that you may know of. Anyways, whenever they were good friends, and Thayer was a sports writer for the Harvard newspaper. And whenever they both graduated, William Randolph Hearst went back to California, and his daddy told him to run this newspaper for him, the San Francisco Examiner. And he needed a sports writer, so he contacted his old friend from Harvard, Ernest Thayer, and invited him to be a sports writer for the newspaper. And he went out there, and way back in 1888, at the ripe old age of 24, Ernest Thayer wrote Casey at the Bat. The outlook looked rocky for the Mudville Nine that day. The score stood 4-2 with but one inning left to play. And when Cooney died at second and Burroughs did the same, a pallor wreathed the features of the patrons of the game. Now a straggling few got up to go, leaving there the rest, with hope that springs eternal from within the human breast. For they thought, if only Casey could get a whack at that, they'd put even money now with Casey at the bat. But Bookman preceded Casey, and likewise so did Blake, and the former was a puddin', and the latter was a flake. So on that stricken multitude a death-like silence sat, for they felt that there's little chance of Casey getting to the bat. But Bookman lined a single, to the wonderment of all, and that much despised Blake tore the cover off the ball. And when the dust had lifted and they saw what had occurred, there was Blake safe at second, and Bookman hugging third. Then from the glad multitude there rose a joyous yell. It rumbled in the mountaintops, it rattled in the dell, it struck upon the hillside and rebounded in the flat, for Casey, mighty Casey, was advancing to the bat. Oh, there was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into his place. There was pride in Casey's bearing and a smile on Casey's face. And when responding to the cheers, he lightly doffed his hat. No stranger in the crowd could doubt 'twas Casey at the bat. 10,000 eyes were on him as he rubbed his hands with dirt. 5,000 tongues applauded when he wiped them on his shirt. And when the writhing pitcher ground the ball into his hip, defiance glanced in Casey's eyes and a sneer curled Casey's lips. And now the leather-covered sphere came hurtling through the air, and Casey stood a-watching it in haughty grandeur there. Close by the sturdy batsman, the ball unheeded sped. "That ain't my style," said Casey. "Great one," the umpire said. From the benches, black with people, there went up a muffled roar, like the beating of the storm waves on the stern and distant shore. "Kill him! Kill the umpire!" cried someone in the stands. And it's likely they'd have killed him had not Casey raised his hand. With a smile of Christian charity, great Casey's visage shone. He stilled the rising turmoil. He bade the game go on. He signaled to the pitcher, and once more the spheroid flew. But Casey still ignored it, and the umpire said, "3-2. "Fraud!" cried the maddened thousands, and the echo answered, "Fraud!" But one scornful look from Casey, and the audience was awed. They saw his face grow stern and cold. They saw his muscles strain, and they knew that Casey wouldn't let that ball go by again. The sneer is gone from Casey's lips. His teeth are clenched in hate. He pounds with cruel vengeance his bat upon the plate. And now the pitcher holds the ball, and now he lets it go, and now the air is shattered by the force of Casey's blow. Somewhere in this favored land, the sun is shining bright. A band is playing somewhere, and somewhere hearts are light. And somewhere men are laughing, and somewhere children shout. But there's no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out.